The Differences Between Anime and Cartoons by Archie Warder. While anime and Western cartoons are very much similar in how they are created, the subject matter and styles are very different. For starters, Western cartoons are generally made for children or young teenagers, with only a few cartoons existing just for adults. In terms of anime, it is the exact opposite. Most anime are made for teenagers to adults, and not so many are made for children and younger teens. While cartoons are more dominant in the Western world, anime still has a huge fan base in the West. But anime in places like its origin land, Japan, and other Asian countries like Korea and China have huge fan bases. Now I have a short film starring Dave Wittenberg, a famous voice actor for anime and cartoons. Here he will discuss the steps that go into making an anime.
Begins with creating the story structure and the look of the animation, and then you go from there. Once the initial artwork is created and the design work is refined. Storyboards are drawn based on the screenplay. They're very similar to manga. They show the film's action and camera moves. All of the character arrangements, positions, and movements are placed on the background. Once the layout is complete, the key animation is drawn. In order to get the correct timing of the key animation, the timesheet is made. It shows the length of each shot and the necessary camera movement, as well as plan out the rest of the production process. Once the drawings are done, they're checked to make sure that the movements are smooth and that everything is done in accordance with the timesheets, which is critical. Then we go to the scanner, where the finished animation is scanned in page by page and then digitally colored. Next come the backgrounds, and these things are amazing. They're hand-drawn and hand-painted. Look at this. Then, the finished background art, amazing as it is scanned into the old computer and reviewed. Because of the limitations of 2D animation, they use three-dimensional and retouching software, which I'm not even sure how it works. I'm just glad that it does. Backgrounds and graphics. Then the computer goes to work rendering each of the composited images for the film. And for Naruto, there were over 80,000 of them. The animation team does a final check, and Naruto the movie is ready to go.
Now I have a quick interview with a fan of both anime and cartoons, and ask them a few questions on the subject. Hello, are you a fan of both anime and cartoons?
Yes, I am.
Would it be okay if I asked you a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, thank you. What do you think is the main difference between anime and cartoons?
I think there's a difference in style, in art styles, and also an effort towards certain storylines and professionalism. For example, anime has very detailed opening and ending theme songs and long storylines, whereas cartoons have a more relaxed view to theme songs and story length. Also, some cartoons like Adventure Time try to do this as well.
Awesome. Can you tell me what genre you first watched for both anime and cartoons?
Yeah, the first anime I watched was Naruto and Fairy Tail, and the first cartoon was Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Oh, awesome. And lastly, can you let me know what is your favourite anime and cartoon currently?
My favourite anime at the moment is called Noragami, and my favourite cartoon would be Steven Universe.
Very, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next short clip is courtesy of Cartoon Network, and it shows the process that is used to make episodes for your favourite cartoons.
Could this napkin sketch of a cuddly woodland character capture the hearts of children and adults around the world? Let's find out how it could happen. Follow along now to discover cartoons. Are they magic? In the early stages of cartoon pre-production, writers sit around a table and pretend to work for weeks until a script is due. Then, illustrators expend most of their department budget on cutting-edge post-it note technology. The drawings they produce are assembled into storyboards, which are like cut-rate comic books that illustrate key frames of the script. When storyboarding is complete, voice actors are called in to perform precise comic improvisations.
Oh, what? You're wrong! You're all like, that'll never happen. And then we'll get all cool and you'll be all like, whoa! And then we'll be like, in your face! And then I'll be all like, get back to work!
Grown men can actually make a living performing voices just like these. The voice recordings are then synchronized with the storyboards, resulting in an animatic, or a movie where the images don't move at all. Finally, the director will make notes on everything from the animatics to set modeling and sheet timing, during which handwritten notes are actually made with a pencil, before the whole package kicks up its heels for an intercontinental flight. A flight to sunny South Korea. A conference call helps both teams iron out technical details, like how to do the Running Man or the Cabbage Patch. Then the Korean team will do all the actual work. Dozens of artists will labor carefully to create everything between the keyframes featured in the storyboards. Then all drawings are scanned, inked, and painted before arriving at animation layout. It looks like this little birdie is ready for his close-up. After review and retakes by the Korean team, it's homeward bound for our little cartoon, where final edits and sound mixing put the finishing touches on a precocious new feat of animation. So now you know what we know, and we'll leave it up to you. Are cartoons magic? At Cartoon Network Studios, we like to think so.
Next up, I have an interview with a lecturer at Chichester College and ask his opinions on anime and cartoons. Hello, can I please ask you a few questions about anime and cartoons?
Of course you can.
What do you think is the main difference between Japanese animation and Western cartoons?
Obviously the place that they come from, their origins. Traditionally anime is from Asia, although not so much now. Can be from anywhere, or and cartoons are obviously just sort of generic term for animated stuff.
Yeah. Can you tell me what genre you first watched and what was the first anime or cartoon you watched?
Yeah, when I was a kid there was no such thing as anime, so it was just all cartoons, Looney Tunes, that kind of thing. Yeah. I remember when, in fact at that time, there wasn't anime, and when it started coming out people called it Japanimation because it wasn't, it was so new, that was just what we called it.
The foundation years had a different sort of name around. And lastly, can you let me know what is your current favourite anime or cartoon?
Currently, my favourite, well, the only thing I've watched recently is Rick and Morty,
which
is relatively new, which I think is genius. I also watched an old episode.
Very, very popular in America.
It's really popular. It's on Netflix, which helps. I had a friend introduce it to me, and I didn't watch it for a really long time because I'm not that interested in cartoons or anime these days. Just don't have a lot of time. But he said, "No, check it out," and I did, and it's just really, really funny. So
you definitely recommend Rick and Morty to other people?
Absolutely. I think the guy who makes it is really smart. He made a show called Community before he made this, which was live action, which I really, really liked. And actually, it was learning that he had written Rick and Morty that made me want to try it out. And it is like, I think it's a step above a lot of stuff that gets made at the moment. So, and it's only possible because it's animated. Actually, it wouldn't work in any other way, which is what makes it good, I think.
Alright, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for answering my questions. Lastly, I will show you 2 slides consisting of some of the most influential people in anime and cartoons, from the famous Studio Ghibli co-founders Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata, to people like Stan Lee and Walt Disney. This is a showcase of the most influential of all time.